Welcome everyone to another edition of the Insider's Guide to Mortgages. My name is Mike Rennick. I'm the senior broker, the team lead with Team Rennick Real Estate Services, part of that great Keller Williams on the Water family. My guest today and every day as we do mortgage videos is Mr. Brody Wiseman.
Great to be back.
Brody, thank you. I appreciate everything that you do. Brody is a branch manager for Element Funding, in addition to being independent, which means he can take your loan application out to a funding source, a bank or whatever, that's best suited for you. He's not tied to just one bank. So that's important. His knowledge, which is second to none in the mortgage industry, is something that's very valuable to all of us. But what I like above all of those is his focus on the customer. And that's what Eric and I do on the real estate side. And that's why we've elected to partner with Brody. So Brody, thank you.
Thank you.
What we're going to talk about today is what someone needs to do to start preparing as they apply for a loan. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, I got that right. Very good.
That's good.
So what do they have to do?
So there are a couple things that you need to do before applying for a mortgage, or if you're going through that process. One of the things that I always recommend to people, and I can't, as a mortgage person, I'm never allowed to recommend a specific one, but I do recommend credit repair.
Okay.
Your interest rate is largely driven by your credit score.
Okay.
And so when we talk about interest rate, you know, a quarter of a point or an eighth of a point, it matters. Something over 30 years, we're talking about a lot of money, that type of difference. So what I try to tell people, you know, when maybe they're applying with me, but they're not looking at buying something for quite some time, is go to a credit repair service and get your score up. A lot of times they can do a lot of things on your report. They can contest, you know, derogatory items, get your score up and help you get a better deal on your interest rate. The
interest rate is definitely tied to what your credit score
yes.
is, correct?
Yeah, that's the biggest driver of interest rate is credit score. Not so much being able to qualify, but what your interest rate ultimately is going to be is dictated by your credit score.
So let's say someone's credit score is in a very acceptable range.
Okay.
What do they need to focus on at that point to start getting ready? Because there's a lot of paperwork involved in applying for a mortgage, or at least I remember
there is.
In my olden days. Maybe it's streamlined a little bit, but what can someone do to get ready?
Well, every situation is different, but definitely make sure that your taxes are in order and you have, you know, documentation on all your recent returns.
So if your current year's taxes aren't filed, they need to be filed?
Not necessarily. You can get an extension.
Okay.
I would really recommend consulting with a mortgage person as soon as you can. If you're thinking about buying a house and you know you're going to be getting a mortgage, probably one of the first things that you need to do is go ahead and start getting that stuff in order. What we can do on our side is we can actually go and get your loan underwritten. We can take it to an underwriter, get you fully pre-approved, which is a process. You know, a lot of people think that can take a day or two. It's really about a 2 or 3 week process, but we can get everything solidified, all your documentation in, get it all done, wrapped up early. That way you're not having to scramble and go through a process while you're also trying to buy a house.
So that makes the offer almost as strong as cash.
Makes it incredibly strong.
And so if someone is pre-approved, the only open variable at that point is to make sure the property appraises, is that correct?
That is correct. And if it's a condo, you got to conduct a condo review and certain things like that.
Correct.
But I always recommend it to people, and a big thing that gets kind of misconstrued in the mortgage industry is there's a pre-qualification and a pre-approval. Mm-hmm. They're two different things, and a lot of times they're presented based on the circumstance as the same thing. They are not. If you want a true pre-approval, nobody in this world can do it in a day or two. For an underwriter to review it, for all that to happen, it's going to take some time, but it's worth it. If you know you're going to be going through this process, I really recommend doing it up front. Some of the other things that I recommend people do is a lot of people think, okay, I'm going to go get a mortgage, I got to pay down all my debt. Don't do it. Wait. And the reason why I say that is that can all be handled simultaneously at closing. Okay. When you go and you pay these things off either right before the process or during the process, a lot of times you're going to create more documentation and more burden on yourself. It creates a lot more work for you where this can all be handled at the closing.
So this is why they need to partner with an expert.
Yes.
Because you know the ins and the outs. You can guide them right from the beginning of everything they should do or should not do.
Yes. So I'd recommend, you know, find somebody you're comfortable with. And if you're going to go through this process, get on it early. The more you can do up front, the more work you can put in before you even get into a contract situation, the much less stressful, the more smooth this entire process is going to go.
The message is reach out early.
Reach out early, get started early, don't procrastinate.
Brody, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll see you again next week.
Sounds good.
Take care. Thanks everyone for watching.